Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 7th episode of the Oddcast, a podcast. My name is Halo Kirby, and this is my lovely co-host, One Flint Quill. And we are here today to give you a variety of 15-minute segments of introductory random jumble, some lovely media news of the last, now 2 weeks, but we're not going to take up too much time. We're going to try and cover what's most recent, but we made some fun stuff over the last 2 weeks, since we missed 1 week. And ranking, we are reviewing the first 3 episodes of the anime BlueLock.
Indeed,
for our 3rd segment.
I am so unbelievably excited for this segment right here. The BlueLock was literally insane. This is going to be a crazy 3rd segment.
Oh, did you wait? I never asked. Did you watch subbed or dubbed?
I watched it subbed.
I watched dubbed.
Okay, cool.
We keep accidentally doing this.
Yeah, this is funny. I don't know if my mic. Okay, my mic is in a weird position. Okay, maybe that's better. I'm going to continue to pronate it throughout the episode, and it's going to cycle in and out. But would you like to get into 2.5 truths before we begin with the topic?
Sure. Touch me up on your days of the last now 2 weeks.
Yeah,
my friend.
Well, my first truth is that over the last week or so, I have been to 5 separate Pep Boys. Do you know what Pep Boys is?
I can make a guess, but I do not know.
Actually, I'm curious. What is your guess as to what Pep Boys is?
Pet Boys is either... My guess is a pet store of some variety.
Okay, so...
Now, granted, I could go in a different direction if you would like me to, but I don't know if we want to talk about that on the show.
All right, so I would like to clarify. I'm talking about Pep Boys, P-E-P Boys.
Oh, Pep! I thought you said pet. Okay, well, that changes my answer completely. Right. My assumption is, well, with the name now recognized, I will assume it to be some kind of, maybe like an athletics shop?
That would be a good guess. It turns out that it's an auto service kind of company.
Okay. So wait, did something happen to your car?
So here's the thing. My truck is a little bit. I don't want to call it an antique, but it's a 2003 F-150. It's up there in years. And
Ethan.
Yeah.
Not to date me or anything. That's about as old as I am.
Yep, it's only a year younger than me as well. So we're it's a pretty. So here's the thing. It's nothing serious. It turns out that there was just a vacuum leak. I think one of the hoses leading down to the PCV valve. But the point is that I originally tried to get this done on Sunday because the service engine light was on, and I had classes every other day, so I was like, I need to do this Sunday, and of course nobody's open on Sunday, so I go to 3 different Pep Boys, and and then I had to wait until another day to go to 2 more Pep Boys before it was finally fixed. So anyway, that's my first truth.
Okay.
My second truth is that I have 2 notifications on my phone app. I don't have any missed calls.
Yeah.
And it's just giving me 2 notifications. If anyone in the comments is savvy enough so as to illuminate the situation for me, I would be eternally grateful. It's upsetting me a little bit.
Be voicemail?
I don't know. I've tried to check all of the little subsections of the app. I'm not sure if there is a little phone Turgeist, if you will. But anyway, that's my second truth.
Really hope that that sound of running water coming through my wall all of a sudden isn't bleeding into the microphone.
Well, I can't hear it if it makes you feel better. So.
Well, that's probably because of Discord's noise suppression.
Right. I keep forgetting. So My third truth is that on Wednesday morning, I was so hungry, I got 16 paninis and a quinoa salad.
I've seen you. You can. How big are paninis?
So these are. Paninis are like I would say they're, I don't know, maybe 3 to 4 inches long. It's an all right, kind of sandwich. It's a sandwich,
I don't know if you could pack away 16 paninis, Ethan. I mean, you might be able to.
I would tend to agree with you, actually. But it turns out that is actually not the lie, or the half-truth, rather. All of these are at least half-truthful. That's kind of the idea of the segment. But so it turns out that unfortunately, I do have 2 notifications on my phone, and I'm very upset about it. If somebody can help me in the comments, that would be great. That was the truth. So the other truth is, in fact, I was. So the sentence that I said was, on Wednesday morning, I was so hungry, I got 16 paninis and a quinoa salad.
Yes.
There should be a period after hungry. On Wednesday morning, I was so hungry, period. I got 16 paninis and a quinoa salad. So it turns out that at the math department was hosting a clinic presentation, and as the graduate student assistant, I had to get food catering from the local cafe and get some paninis for everybody, and a quinoa salad and a fruit salad, and yummy, right? It's pretty cool. The math clinic presentation, it's actually pretty cool. There's a few students that are working with Los Alamos Laboratory, and they're studying the fracture patterns of seismic activity. And to be honest, I did not understand most of what they were saying. They were using differential equations. I know how to solve some differential equations, but I don't know what they're using it for. And, I get the general idea, but for just to demystify this kind of misconception that people have, for anyone wondering, if you are a math major going to a math talk, chances are you're not going to understand what they're saying. It's just kind of up to you to kind of do research afterwards and just kind of be exposed to the topic. And I know that I've kind of talked about the fact that I'm in this math program a couple times on the podcast. I'm not trying to brag or anything, because it's not really something to brag about. I honestly don't believe that math majors are any smarter than any other major. Except maybe if you're majoring in astrology or something like that. If that is a major, then I feel sorry for you. Yeah, I mean, it's just, something. Different people are interested in different things. Yeah, the paninis were pretty good.
Well, I'm glad the paninis were good. I just heard a loud bap in the wall. I'm like, what was that? Somebody's on the other side of my room. In the room across, doing things.
Maybe there's not only a Phone-Tergeist, but I think I just triggered my fight or flight response trying to come up with a pun on poltergeist. I just couldn't, you could probably see the gears clunking in my brain, how can I talk? Waltergeist? I don't know. We're going to have to workshop that one.
Well, we decide on a ranking segment here, but I don't think we have anything to rank this fine week. So I suppose I can drum up on what's been going on a little bit.
Yeah, and so
editing.
Sorry,
so much editing.
if you don't mind, I will add just a little. I know people in the comments are going to be frustrated if I don't clarify. The Pep Boys thing was the half truth. I did go to 5 separate Pep Boys. But Pep Boys was not even the one that ended up doing the service. I also went to Fire Zone and Auto Zone, and I finally went to All Star. There was 6 other locations that I went to, and yeah, it turned out to be even more of a mess than I even let on. But yeah, that's 2.5 truths. So anyway, continue, please.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I've noticed through the guise of my very own camera that I have had truly a loss of my dear A Squad Yellow Ranger has fallen somehow.
No.
Truly a travesty on high. I'll have to stand him back up after this episode's over.
Wow.
Rest in peace, that random jobber from SPD from the early 2000s.
To our fallen heroes.
Rip. He's actually a villain. So is that entire team of colorful casted fools.
My bad.
Evil Power Rangers. Ooh. Anyways, but I guess what I was going on, it's mostly been a lot of editing. It's been a lot of editing.
Yeah.
Both editing this show and also editing the Helldivers videos that I've been putting out. We've talked about. I think I try and mention it for the people who have subscribed to that and come on to maybe potentially watching the show when they see it get uploaded as well as other things I put out. But yeah, I've been in the last 2 weeks have been working on the Equality Engineer video that had come out between now and last, and working on the next one, which by the time this episode goes up, the Sniper video should be out, which will leave me with Scout, Medic, and Spy left to do from the Tier 9 classes of TF2. And then I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do after that. I'm thinking maybe Halo? I got a lot of voice lines from the Halo games I could probably use, I could work with. They'd just be a little bit harder to find, all things considered.
That would be fantastic. By the way,
I agree.
Everyone
Yes.
listening at home, what I want you to do is pause this video and go watch the Equality Engineer video. That one is my personal favorite, and for some reason it has the least amount of views. So that's wrong. You need to go and fix that. You need to watch the video.
I think my theory on why it has the least amount of views is that it's named, it's running the same theme, kind of the managed democracy Helldivers shtick with the word equality, but it's not as like apparent, like democracy or Super Earth or Freedom's Flame, all that stuff.
Yeah.
All this kind of invokes Helldivers more directly than equality. But I just really wanted to keep up the alliteration, which I'm pretty sure I'm breaking with the Sniper video, depending on what I title it, which I am still working through a couple of different ideas for that.
The sultry
But the thumbnail
Sniper.
already exists. So.
Cool.
Did you say the sultry?
Yeah, we don't have to dwell on what I said. We can jump into this segment.
Well, let me see. Anything else going on? Some more progress has been made on the still up and coming JoJo show that I am working on. We're having a session 0 sometime here in the next 2 weeks to go over the logistics for that. So expect that eventually, probably alongside this podcast and also the Helldivers videos.
Cool.
We'll see how I'll find time to do them all somehow, some way. Probably gonna take the JoJo episodes slow.
Yeah. I mentioned before. So we both mentioned before we're doing BlueLock in the third segment. What I wanted to talk about with the remainder of our time in this first segment here is our relationship with sports anime in general.
None.
None? Okay. None on your side.
Never really been a sports anime guy. Well, to be fair, I can't say that. I've just never really seen one, really.
Yeah.
To my recollection, at least.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it kind of falls into the larger conversation of like non-battle battle shonen.
Yeah.
There's a couple of cool video essays on this, but like the idea of having a battle shonen, like a pseudo battle shonen series where the primary mode of competition is not traditional combat, but rather some other kind of competitive activities such as soccer in this case, or in the case of my favorite anime other than Hunter x Hunter, volleyball in Haikyuu, or it could be even Karuta from Chihayafuru, sorry, and it could be, I don't know, it could be freaking basket weaving, or horse racing, Uma Musume, right? So
Well, I guess that is part 7 from JoJo. Obviously, that's all about horse racing.
yeah, totally shonen, right?
I mean, yeah. Well, that is true. And I guess my closing sequence with sports anime would have been the Dragon Ball Super episode where they played baseball. That's about it for me.
Right.
But we will talk more about BlueLock and possibly other sports anime down the line. But we'll talk about BlueLock in the third segment, and we'll see you in the second segment in a quick 1-second spin to talk about some media news. Hello everyone, welcome to segment 2 of the Oddcast Podcast. Today we are talking about a lot of variety in media news. Let's see what we got on the docket today of the last 2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks ago, I think this is the first piece of media news that I talked about, that was going to go up for our previous episode, would have been a new Xenoverse 3 article. It talks kind of just talking about the announcement of the game, officially posted on the official Dragon Ball site. Not too much to go over on that, just saying, hey, the game's real. I'm like, oh, the game is real. I'm still riding that high. You gotta check every other day to make sure, oh, yep, it's still real.
You gotta pinch yourself.
Exactly. Let's see. In the last April 27th was the 34th anniversary of Kirby, which, you know me, I was very excited about that. I don't think we got any new news, but got a new official piece of art from HAL Lab just to celebrate the franchise's anniversary, and that was very nice.
Yeah.
Also within the last 2 weeks was a... Ethan, how do you feel about the Pokemon Quagsire?
I have used Quagsire probably 4 or 5 times and taken him all the way to the Elite Four every time. I love me some Quagsire. Great typing, very cute. One of the cutest Pokemon I've ever seen in my life. Yeah.
Now I have a question. Would you pay $220 for a Quagsire table?
I would not. But it looks very, very cool.
It looks very cute. I am a big fan. I don't know if I would pay that price for him. I guess unless I got like my own place, then maybe I would.
If Quagsire were in any kind of mortal danger and I had to like rescue him from some kind of oncoming threat, then I would strongly consider, putting down $200. But as it stands, I think Quagsire is chillin'. And hopefully he finds his way into the luxurious home of someone with more disposable income than me. So, yeah.
Well, as it stands, he's sitting, so I think he'll be doing just fine.
Right, of course.
More recent stuff of this previous week was the release of the indie game we talked about. I believe either the last episode or the episode before. Motorslice has released, and I now own it twice.
Is this gonna turn into Xenoverse, dude? Like, are you
gonna... No, it's not gonna turn into Xenoverse 2. I just bought it on Steam to try and play later once I got my computer up and running. But then I got informed it was on console, so I also got it on console. And then I play a little bit of it, and it is very, very fun.
Cool.
But this is not about to turn into Xenoverse 2.
Yeah,
unless it came out on Switch, then I might consider indulging for a third time. But hasn't happened to my knowledge. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Motorslice does look very cool. I do, like, looking at this second trailer that you showed me, like, it does look like you can do a surprising number of things. Like, you can just climb on walls for extended periods of time, and, like, it seems like a really free-form kind of type of parkour, which yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it looks very, very good, very cool, and what little I have played of it thus far, still I got it the other day. It's very fun.
Nice.
Yeah. What else has been going on? Werewolf of the Apocalypse, one of the many blank the blank games of White Wolf, has gotten a new video game. You might know Werewolf of the Apocalypse from one of its. You might know the world that game is set in, via things like Vampire the Masquerade, or Mage the Ascension, or Hunter the Reckoning, or if you're on YouTube, Hunter the Parenting. by Bruva Alphabusa. Yeah. But World of the Apocalypse Rageborn has been revealed on the official World of Darkness YouTube, and it looks to be very interesting. We haven't gotten a World of Darkness video game in quite some time. It looks to be a quick glance back at the trailer to refresh myself. Looks to be some kind of top-down action game. Looks pretty neat.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've told you anything about the misadventures that I've had playing the TTRPG Vampire the Masquerade, Ethan. But in VTM, you play typically as recently turned vampires trying to survive in a newly discovered supernatural world, essentially. You know, the world behind the veil that keeps themselves hidden from society.
Right.
Kind of balancing the being a monster and trying to pretend to be and continue to be human to hold on to that grasp of what you once were. Werewolf the Apocalypse, to my understanding, is kind of like that, except you're playing, instead of as a vampire and able to hide as a human, you play as someone who can turn into a 9-foot-tall rage monster that fights for the environment.
All right.
You are a walking war machine eco-terrorist, and it sounds very fun. I just have not had the chance to play it.
Oh, that's great. I love your description. Yeah.
I mean, hey, the last time I saw it get played, a group of werewolves essentially fought an oil company.
How about that?
You know. What else is going on our docket today? That's right. A new launch trailer for Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight came out a couple days ago, I believe. Yesterday, actually, I think. Reminding us of the release date of the 22nd of May. Ethan, are you at all familiar with the Arkham games of Batman?
I am familiar with them. I never played them. I've only ever played like Lego Batman on the 360, for example. So they look cool, though.
Well, I will say, for what I've seen of Legacy of the Dark Knight, it looks to be a combination of the Lego Batman and that similar charm in combination with some of the gameplay aspects of the Arkham series, and it looks really good. I'm probably going to pick it up myself, give it a whirl, because I really did enjoy the last modern Lego game that I got, that being the Skywalker Saga, that big, collection of Star Wars games, that big new one with all the movies and stuff that covered everything from the prequels to the sequels. And I really enjoyed my time with that, so I'm probably going to pick this one up too, just to try out another modern Lego game. But the big reveal, I think, for today, for us specifically, is the announced 10 minutes and then it just dropped Nintendo Direct that happened yesterday. Seriously, it was announced 10 minutes before it went live and then just went live.
Yeah.
That was Nintendo just kind of just dropped that in front of us and said, "Hey, come see." I was like, "Okay, all right." It was something. I caught I caught the middle of it. It's like, what the heck? Why isn't it Direct today? One of my roommates was saying there's a Direct. It's like, what?
Yeah, it caught me off guard as well. Yeah.
It was Starfox Direct. We're getting a new Starfox game in the year 2026. It's been 10, I want to say, years since Star Fox Zero.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Sounds about right. And all in all, I think this looks fantastic. I think this new game looks very good. It is the same story. You have, I think... It is... So, the first Star Fox game released on the SNES, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, telling the story of the Lilac Wars. And then Star Fox 64 was that game's story, and again, but in a much more defined look for the series, and that kind of went on to push forward everything else. And then we got sequels to that game in the form of Assault and Adventure, I believe. And then kind of from there we kind of would see there was a DS game, Command, I think, which it was also a continuation, I believe. I think I have played it. It's been such a long time. It's kind of hard for me to remember. And then from there we kind of just kept coming back to the same story.
Yeah.
I believe there are 4 or 5 different ways you could play the Lilac Wars story in Starfox. And the last time they did this was kind of... Starfox Zero was meant to be kind of a reboot, to my understanding, kind of a retelling, reboot, a reimagining of that original narrative. But it did not do well at all. And that really comes down to its control scheme, which was not very good.
Alas.
So I think, and I know some people are kind of bothered by the fact that we're doing the Lilac Wars again, but also the more I think about it, as someone who's kind of really only played the very first game and has played a little bit of 64 and has played Command, I really think this was probably the safest move Nintendo could have made, purely because the last time they did something past it was rather long ago, and they really probably wouldn't make a sequel to Zero because Zero did not do well financially.
The thing is, like, the fact I think the fact that they keep going back to the same story honestly doesn't really surprise me, because I think it's sort of indicative of a larger issue with Star Fox, which is that so for me personally, the best aspect of Star Fox is the aesthetic and the vibe, right? Like the fact that we are in these really cool looking ships going through the galaxy, and you have your 4 heroes. You know, you have the quartet of space cadets, if you will. You have the, Fox McCloud, Falco Lombardi, Peppy Hare, and Slippy Toad. Like, these are, this is a great dream team of characters with really great designs, and the aesthetic is great. It feels so good to do a barrel roll, and it's like a very streamlined kind of type of gameplay where you keep going in this sort of linear fashion. And but the problem is that in terms of diversity of gameplay, or I guess like capacity of narrative, it's a little bit style over substance, I've found. And like, so to be honest, the fact that they keep returning to the Lilac Wars is kind of while it's not surprising, maybe it is disappointing for some people, but yeah, I guess it's sort of inevitable in some sense.
I think there is, from what I've seen of this new game, with a much more emphasis on seemingly cutscenes and other things to try and sort of push this, I hope that if this does well, this can be a window to actually progress the story a little bit.
Yes.
Like, if this game does well, Star Fox has kind of looked the same for a long time, so we'll get to the designs in just a minute. I think this new look, this new feel, returning to giving a sort of ground zero to anybody who hasn't had a chance to play, because again, it's been 10 years since Star Fox had a game, and that game wasn't very well received or didn't control well, and overall I think there's potential to tell more stories in the universe, and they have done it before.
Yeah.
But I think starting at ground zero, original, it's been a while. Let's give people who are now interested a chance to really experience this first story, like me, who haven't had a real chance to really play it outside of trying it for a couple of times, to really give it a crack, try it out, see what people think. If it does well, maybe we'll get more. That's what I hope. At least. Yeah.
And I want to clarify that I'm not trying to be cynical or anything when I say that it is inevitable. It's not really inevitable. It's just like my point is that it's like not super surprising that they keep returning to the Lilac Wars, because it was a good story. It was very effective for the game. But I agree with you. I think that it has a lot of potential, and I'm really hoping to see a new story after this. Maybe some kind of sequel, especially with this cool new sort of realistic looking art style that they're going for.
Yeah, I really do like... We can spend our last minute on the look of everything. I really do like how everything looks. Some people find it kind of like off-putting, because Star Fox has had a look for a couple of years, but I think a shake-up is not a bad thing. I really do enjoy a lot of the new looks for everybody. I think this semi-realistic, semi-exaggerated personified animal looks really, really good. I'm a big fan of how they look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love how Falco looks. He's just looking really sharp, you know.
They certainly look different, but they're still all very recognizable, and I think that is a very good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with that, we will wrap up our segment here and go on to talk about the anime BlueLock in our elevator pitch segment. Hello everyone, welcome to the third segment of the Oddcast Podcast, our elevator pitch segment, where we review the first 3 episodes of shows, the first few chapters of books, or maybe entire movies, or maybe even potentially one day a TTRPG rulebook. One day. So, as we mentioned in this segment 1, we are talking about the anime BlueLock today. Ethan, have you seen this show before? Or was this kind of an out-of-the-hat pick?
No, you know, to be honest, what I did was I looked on Google Gemini. I was like, what shows are popular right now? And I looked at, you know, like, here's, you know, Free Ren and Apothecary Diaries. And BlueLock was one of them. And I was like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard cool things about BlueLock. I've heard that it's like a really hype sports anime. And I was expecting it to be just like a regular, like, oh, solo leveling kind of like, oh, this guy's really powerful. Or like he's not powerful yet, but he's going to get really powerful by leveling up and stuff. And so I was like, you know, this might be a little fun thing to watch. So before we actually get into the discussion proper, do you mind if I share with the audience a little excerpt of our Discord conversation?
Sure.
So,
I can throw that up on screen.
I can send you a screenshot of this. At 7:34 a.m., my co-host sends me the message, I am less than 10 minutes into this show. What? I am now 13 minutes in. What? At 7:49 a.m., my co-host sends me the message, Episode 1 is done. What? At 8:43 a.m., Halo Kirby responds to himself, I have finished the 3 episodes. What? And I agree.
That is my thoughts on this entire show. This went in a direction I did not see coming whatsoever, and I'm just sitting here flabbergasted. What?
Yeah.
Huh? What? I don't even. Flabbergasted remains the only word I can think of, because what have I witnessed? I wanted to watch this the day we were going to record just to have it the most fresh in my mind, and I'm just like, huh?
Yeah. So maybe we should explain the premise of BlueLock.
Sure.
So the main character, his name is Isagi, and you know, he's got the navy blue hair, you know, like a very generic looking protagonist, you know, and he wants to basically represent Japan, and he wants to win the World Cup, you know, he wants to go as far as possible in soccer, and you know, the whole anime starts out with a game, and they're trying to, it's in one of the prefectural qualifiers against another team in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and he you know, he comes up to the net and to the goal, I should say, and he's like, okay, if I can shoot this ball in, we can tie the game up, and it's going to be 1-1. And then he sees one of his teammates to the right, and he's like, wait, he's more open. So you know what? I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to pass it to my teammate so that we can tie this game up. And he passes it to his teammate, and his teammate misses. And so he's like, and so eventually the other team gets it. They score a goal. They lose the game. They're out of the tournament. And what I really like about this, first of all, is we kind of get to see the I guess the delayed nature of the protagonist's responses to things, because or maybe the sort of the duality of his personality, because what happens is, everybody's like crying and he's just kind of stone-faced. He's being a little bit stoic about it. And then it's not until later on when we see him like walking his bicycle back home on the road where he finally just breaks down and sobs, and he's like, I really wanted to win that game. So not only is that sort of indicative of the duality of his personality later on, where sometimes he just has this really strong emotional response about something that manifests in interesting ways, but also it kind of lets us know sort of the theme of this show, which is how much do you want to prioritize teamwork versus doing things on your own and being a star monster player on your own. Right.
And then from there, everything goes crazy. I feel like we went from 0 to 10,000 in very, very, very quickly.
Yes. Would you like to explain the premise of BlueLock, the facility?
Okay, what was it? So, 300, I believe, of the most notable, I guess, they're all teenagers? I think they're all teenagers. These up-and-coming, teenage stars of soccer across Japan are all brought together to some facility that pits them essentially against each other. Both, has them cooperate also against each other to eventually result in one of them becoming the best striker for Japan to try and take the World Cup. They are trying to battle royale their way to get the best soccer player to let Japan win the World Cup. Essentially, to my understanding, that is the goal for this. They are trying to make a hero of soccer, essentially. And when I tell you I was less than 10 minutes when this was introduced. That was my first message to either that I already read. Just what? The way this is presented and explained is so drastically different to where I thought this show was going to go when I started watching it that I paused for a minute and just stared at the screen. It's like, I'm sorry, we're doing what? The guy running this is just straight up named Ego, and I find that funny.
Yeah.
But in a very quick synopsis, that is essentially what their goal is, what the facility's goal is. These 300 teenagers are divided up and ranked from 1 to 300, and as well as from, I think, B to Z, where they are, and that will determine kind of what their rank is. So, Z 300 is the worst, and B1, I guess, is the best. Mm-hmm. And essentially from there, it's I'm just trying to recall everything. I just
yeah,
man, it was such a flux of information that blindsided me.
It really is. I mean, it's a really interesting take on sports, because a lot of these sports anime, it's set in high school where the players have this dream to eventually represent their country or whatever and go on to professionally play. And this kind of bridges the gap between high school and professional, athletics with this facility where, we set it up to where okay, the person that's in charge, I forget her name, but she's this lady that's
I forget her name too.
She really wants Japan to make it farther than the final 16. They've never made it past the Sweet 16 in the tournament, and they want to make it to the quarterfinals. Japan, I'm talking about. So, and the way that she sets this up is she hires Ego to basically find all of these 300 students according to his, quote, very biased and arbitrary ranking of people. Mm-hmm. That's the way he puts it.
That's the way he put it.
It's interesting because he uses that sort of self-deprecating language, but by doing that, you can kind of tell, like, oh, this guy has a really good intuition for how good a player is. But like, the idea is that the whole culture of Japan, right? Japan has sort of a collectivist kind of culture, and I don't mean that in terms of like socialism or any kind of economical political thing. I just mean like collectivist in terms of like, you don't want to be the nail that sticks out, you know. You want to like work as a team, and you want to kind of work and blend in so that you can contribute to the greater good. And that is kind of how they've been setting up that Japanese soccer kind of works. That's their philosophy, is that they really value teamwork, and there's not one star that shines above. But, you know, as you mentioned, there are these players historically and statistically that have led their teams to victory, like Ronaldo or Messi or Cantona. You know, like these players, these superstar players that actually do lead their team to victory because they are these crazy monster individuals that blow everyone else out of the water. And so the idea behind the BlueLock facility is that, okay, you know what? Forget everything you know about Japanese soccer. Forget everything you know about soccer. We're going to create this sport from zero. And we are going to craft the perfect diamond in the rough player and make him compete in the World Cup so that we can finally take it all the way.
Yep.
It
is a wild premise. This, to describe it as essentially sports battle shonen is more or less correct. They even have like the pause, like even in the first episode they have like a moment where you just pause, get the inner narration of the character as they keep going into fight.
Yeah.
It is so different to what I thought it was going to be that it took me so off guard. And it really is what a premise, honestly. It has such a different energy to what I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'll probably keep bringing it up even if I continue to watch it. It's like, this show is so different to what I thought it was going to be. And I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I am very interested to see where this cast can go. We don't get too much of a feel for the others characters too much, because there is like a cast of so far at least there are 11 of sort of that make up our main cast, including our main character.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't get too much of a feel on them yet in the first episodes, except for, I guess, the God, what is his name? What is our dear yellow hair boy's name?
Oh,
with the black yellow undertones. Sleeps alive, kind of creepy.
Oh,
I kind of find it. When I first saw him, I was like, okay, this is a sleepy anime boy. He's either going to be creepy, or he's going to be adorable, or he's going to be evil. And he is the first two so far.
yeah. Let me. Okay. Oh, Bachira.
Gosh, what is his name?
That's his name.
That's his name.
Yeah.
Bachira is. I think we spend the most time with him. We get like a part of an episode dedicated to him and Izaragi. He's kind of interacting, and it is it's very different. It's he's kind of the only one we get like even a little bit of explanation on so far, at least.
Mm-hmm. Man, I gotta say, like my favorite part of this show so far was the little activity when they played tag, basically.
Yeah.
Man.
What a way.
Because
Go ahead.
yeah, like the thing, it does exactly like the Battle Shonen thing, where it's like, we are going to test you on this very specific thing that doesn't seem like it's the actual thing that you're training for, but in some subversive, like, you know, way, it actually does have a lot to do with what you're trying to hone. Which is, you know, the premise of this is that like all 25 of the bottom players are pitted against each other in this little penalty area room where the bottom ranked person starts out with the ball, and they are it, right? It's like tag. And the goal is to try to hit one of the other players with the soccer ball, and then whoever gets hit with the soccer ball is now it. And it's basically like 2 minutes or maybe like a minute and 30 seconds or something like that, where It's just a game of tag, and by the end of the countdown, whoever is it has been eliminated from the facility forever. They're just out of it.
They leave.
So, and the way that this plays out is so insane. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who wants to watch this show, but essentially what I will say about this is it is really thematically resonant with the message of the show. And the main character at the end is faced with a very interesting choice. And the decision that he makes leads you to believe something about his character at first, and then he pivots it into something else, which is entirely different and totally like lines up with the whole theme of the show. And it is a very cool like final few seconds of the activity that just kind of took my breath away. It was a really cool sequence.
And I think the episodes to follow continue to kind of set everything up well.
Yeah.
By the end of the third episode, we are presented with the sort of different groups, the different sort of teams at the bottom ranks. I forget what exactly they were. Are sort of left to just try and compete, and that kind of gives you a feel of what the next part of the show is going to be like. And I think it overall is a strong start. And I think with those final two thoughts, we will wrap up the segment and say go watch BlueLock. It seems pretty cool. I think I'll keep watching it.
Yeah,
honestly,
me too.
I'm pretty intrigued with it. Well, everyone, I hope you've enjoyed our rambling about stuff and things and the world of media and pop culture and anime and whoever else is going on in the world. That is fun. Just give you a little sparkle of life in times that are questionable. Well, everyone, I hope you had a good time listening to us, and I hope you have a good, or at least, odd day.